What do I do to end it?
Push that red button right there.
And I'll make sure he gets some notes too, so. All right. There, make a note. Yeah.
I didn't get the third question.
Okay. It's okay. It's okay. We got a phone there for you. You didn't want me to have a phone? I need to do it. Is that my phone?
No, it is not.
It's gonna be my phone is what it's gonna be. Alright, you need to take everything off the desk.
I do not have.
Sierra, Edwin, you're out of this today.
Not like a pop quiz.
For now.
I have something on my
Everything off the desk, please be quiet. You will have 5 minutes to do this.
Oh,
There are only 5 questions. You shouldn't take you that long. I'm being nice.
I need a pencil.
Can't believe that.
I'm gonna ask 5 questions.
Quiet. Talk, you won't have 5 questions. You'll have none. Plus a 0. And you may begin. Real quickly. Got notes? No notes. If I want to know what your notes are, why would I want to give you a pop quiz and let you look it up? You know, that's why you spend those 10 to 15 minutes a night going over your notes and making sure you spend some time with them. Particularly when there's all this definitions. Day 1 of the year, I told y'all to spend time with your homework every night, your notes. If you don't have an assignment, you need to go over your notes. Being that we're in a unit on geometry, geometry is something that you need to spend a lot of time with, because it is a lot of definitions and theorems and stuff like that, particularly when you get up in high school geometry. Madison's not here today.
She was, I guess she might have to talk.
Brandon didn't go here. In about a minute and a half. All right, time's up. Make sure your name is on it. I would recommend make sure you put it. All right, just that we've talked about the angle measures. We were into we talked about complementary angles. Two angles are complementary of what occurs. They have to equal 90 degrees. Two angles are supplements of each other, or supplementary angles if what occurs.
They equal
180 degrees. And we talked about these two questions here yesterday. Angle 1 and angle 2 are complementary angles. The measure of angle 2 is 32 degrees. The measure of angle 1 is what we were looking for. How did we find that?
subtract 132.
Take 90, subtract 32 from it, and that should tell us what the measure of angle 1 is. And it was what? 160. 90 minus 32 is what? Not 68. 58. 90. You should have had 90 minus 32. That's 58. So you should have had. Said angles 4 and 3 are supplementary angles. The measure of angle 4 is 95 degrees. What would be the measure of angle 3? Two angles are supplementary if they're what?
1, 2,
They have to equal what?
180.
180. So if we take 180 and we subtract this 95 from it, that should tell us what the measure of angle 3 is, which is what?
85.
85. You should be able to just look down at your paper because you have those answers already worked out, right? CJ, you got them all worked out in front of you there? Huh. Maybe that's why we were struggling with looking a lot of blank faces when I was handing out those things like, oh my gosh. Alright. Vertical angles. What do you know about vertical angles?
If they cross, share common point.
Alright, there. A vertical angle, 1 and 3 are vertical, and 2 and 4 are vertical. What do you know? Well, they're formed by the intersection of two lines. They share a what?
Point.
Share a common point, which is the intersection right here. They do not share what?
Common side.
They do not share a common side. How do their measures compare? Like 1 and 3. What do you know about angle 1 and 3? They're the same. So if 1 and 3 are the same, what about 2 and 4 if they're vertical? They're the same. So if I know that angle 1 is 120 degrees, what's the easiest angle there to find?
3.
What is it?
120.
It's going to be 120 because 1 and 3 are vertical. Alright, so angle 3 has got to equal 120 degrees also. What about angle 2? What's its degree measure?
Is it half the long one?
No. It's not, well, technically it's going to be half, but that's not the reason. What does angle 1 and 2 form? Just talking about those two angles, what do they form?
An obtuse angle? And an acute?
Obtuse
If I lay my pen right there,
Straight line.
they form a straight line. What do you know about the angle measure of a straight line? 180 degrees. So if one of them is going to be 120,
60.
so this one has to be 60. It happened to be half of what you was talking about, but that's the only reason it is because it was 120. That had been 110, it would have been half of it. So you take 180, subtract the 120 from it, and you come up with this angle, which is 60. Alright, so we know now that angle 2 is 60 degrees. What about angle 4? What's its measurement?
60.
Why?
Because it's vertical to 2.
It's vertical to 2, that's one reason. You also can say, well, 120, 180 minus 120 is going to be that also. Alright, so we've got a couple of reasons now once we've proved the stuff. So now we have that degree measure. Okay? So here, I want you to do this one. Do that one real quick. Tell me what the measures of angle 9, 10, and 11 are. I'll give you about 30, 40 seconds. Just a second. Y'all ready?
Yes.
Alright. Of these three angles here, which one is the easiest to get? Which one? 10. What is it?
54.
Alright. It has to be 54 because it's vertical. So this one's going to be 54. Alright. What's angle 9 going to be?
136.
Going to be what?
136.
136.
I got
27.
26.
Alright. What does this angle and this angle form?
What? Oh, it forms a line?
Forms what type of lines?
Straight.
Straight line, all lines are straight. Alright, so that means it's 180 degrees. So if we take 180 and we subtract the 54 from it, not 136, 126.
I was off by 1 point. I had 127.
Alright, so it's 126. So that means this one's going to be 126. So if this one is 126, what's 11 got to be?
126.
It's vertical, isn't it? So this angle and this angle are the same. So that would be what you'd look for. Alright? Any questions about that?
Jeez, the 5 people just yelling.
You may need this. Line A and line B are parallel. Remember, the two vertical lines means it's parallel. This third line that crosses them, line C, what's the word for it? What was the term for line C there? Transversal. Transversal is this line here. It crosses two parallels or more. It formed 8 angles. I'm telling you, this one is 110 degrees. This is 110. Find the other 7 angle measures. I'll give you a couple of minutes. All ready?
Wait. Please.
Ready? All right. Of the angles up here, which one's the easiest one to get quickly?
2.
2. What's 2 got to be? All right, because it's vertical to this one has to be 110 degrees. All right. What's the measure of angle 1?
750.
Why?
Because 180
All right. Measure of angle 1 is going to be 180 minus 110, which is 70. What's the measure of angle 3?
70.
70. So we got all of those. What about angle 4?
110.
Why?
Because
Yeah, it's a
it's the same thing, like straight
What
line.
what type of angle is this one and this one? Yesterday we talked.
Obtuse.
No, not obtuse. The 110 degree angle and this angle at 4 are what type of angles? We had 3 different type of angles that are formed when a transversal crosses 2 parallels.
Corresponding?
One of them is corresponding. How many corresponding angles are up here right now? Pairs.
2, 4.
There are 4 pair of corresponding angles. How many? What's another one? Corresponding angles was one of them. What's the other two types of angles?
Transversal.
Alternate interior angles, which would be this one and this one and this one and this one are alternate interior. And then what's the other one? Alternate exterior, which means this angle and this one and this angle and this angle are alternate exterior angles. So if this angle and this angle are corresponding, what do you know about a corresponding angle?
The same.
They have the same angle measure, don't they? So if this one is 110 and this one corresponds to it, then this one has to be 110.
And 70.
Then what's 6 got to be?
110.
110, because it's vertical here. It's also corresponding to 2, and 2 was 110. That's its corresponding angle. What's size 3 got to be? Or 4 or 5 rather here.
70.
Why?
It corresponds with 3 and it's vertical with 4.
Well, it's going to be an alternate interior angle to 3, and 3 was 70, and they're equivalent.
And 1.
Then it's also corresponding to 1, and it's a 70. You can use 2 or 3 different things now. What's the last one here? What's 7?
70.
It's 70. How many different angle measures are there?
2.
2. You'll have 2 different angle measures. All right. That's how you name them. Any questions about that?
Nope.
Yep.
I like that, that actually really helped.
Yeah.
You
That?
explained that way better yesterday.
I explained it better yesterday than I did today.
No, not like you explained it better, but I got it better.
Okay. All right. Look at this figure.
Oh.
All you have is some lines that cross, and they form angles. I'm going to give you a little bit of information. The measure of angle 1 is equal to 5x plus 15 degrees. The measure of angle 2 is 28x degrees. I want to know what x is. The value of x. All right? Think about how would you figure that out? Let me give you a little bit of information. You need to look at your angles, and what do I know about those angles? What type of angles are they? And think. Give you a couple of minutes to think about it. Anybody come up with anything? I'd like to share with the class. What do you think? Who's going to be the star today? Who's going to be that one that thinks outside the box? Got to get out of the box sooner or later. Can perish inside the box.
Is it like a transversal?
Well, it's not. It has nothing to do with the transversal.
Is one acute?
No, 3 to me. Oh, you mean an acute angle? Yeah, it's an acute, but does that help you? Knowing it's an acute angle or an obtuse angle at this point, is that going to help you get the value of x?
Actually, it kind of would because it's cute and 5 is obtuse, so whatever x is would turn a cute into a obtuse. So it's like about around more than 90 or around 90.
So you think one's but we're only talking about angle 1 and 2. We don't need to know anything else but what angle 1 and 2 is right now. That's all I gotta know. What do you know about angle 1 and 2 right now? Just looking at angle 1 and 2, what statement can you
Angle
make?
one's cute.
It's a cube. That's not gonna help us.
And it's a
Angle, you can say angle 2 is obtuse, but that's not gonna help us either. What is angle 1 and 2 gonna do for us? What happens? What do you know about it? Well, you know what they're equivalent to, but what else?
I know x equals
What is x then?
5.
How'd you do that?
Well, I know that they both equal 180 together.
Together they equal 180. That's what I was trying to get to. I was trying to get somebody to figure that out. Explain to the class.
If x is equal to 5, you do 28 times 5, which equals 140. You do 5 times 5, which equals 25. And then you add 15, that equals 40. Add them up and you get 180.
Alright. But can you do it algebraically? Y'all understand what he said? He said angle 1 and angle 2 have to equal what? 180. We know that these two angles form a straight line. So we know that the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 is got to equal 180 degrees. And that's given. That's just knowing your definitions, knowing what you're looking at. Alright? We know that angle 1, we can replace that with 5x plus 15. We know that angle 2 is this. So now we got it into an algebraic equation. You did the right thing. You just went a different path. Not wrong, just a different way. But this is the algebraic way. That's all it becomes is combined like terms. What can I combine here?
5 and 28.
Alright, what is 5 plus 28? 33. You know that y'all know that if you take an even number and you add an odd number to it, you always get an odd answer. Can never get an even answer. Only way to get an even answer is to add 2 even numbers or add 2 odd numbers. But if one is odd and one is even, your answer is always odd. So all we did is combine those two. We got 33x plus 15 equal to 180. What's my next step? What's the next step on that equation? Folks, we spent a lot of time on equations before Christmas. What is 180 minus 15?
160.
65. Alright, it's 165. Divide both sides by the coefficient. And we said it was what? Okay, this is 5. Now, if I wanted to know the angle measures, I can go back up here and say 5 times 5 plus 15. That one's 40. And this one's 28 times 5, which is 140. And it does come out to 180. You just went a long way, but you got there. You know, that ain't impressed that you're thinking. You know, that's what I was trying to get someone to think. Some of you sitting over there going, turn the key, and trying to get that motor to turn over. It's cold. trying to get it going.
Mine's
Like
just like-
trying, it's like trying to start my old chainsaw. Prime it,
No, my mind
and I
is just
usually
like,
take it and I throw it across the yard and go over and kick it twice and try again. Sooner or later it starts.
the cubable is just like frozen. I'm trying to like, I can't get it.
Really bad is when you sit there and you try and you try and you try to start that chainsaw and you kick it, you get mad at it, and then you realize that you never turned the switch over to on. That's not good.
Or if it starts and then instantly says.
Yeah, that's even worse. Alright, anybody need this? Cause I'm gonna put it back down. Alright, here's another one. Alright, the measure of angle 4 is 7n plus 39 degrees. Measure of angle 5 is 11n minus 13 degrees. Find the value of n. Again, go to your angles, see what you've got. What do I need to do? Think about it. Come up with an action plan here. Who's going to start? I got one so far. Y'all going to let him be the star? Garrett's going to be the second star today. Our little chart up here had names up here, put little stars by him. He'd already have a star ahead of everybody. Maybe that's what I do. You know, people, I've seen senior high kids go crazy when they get stars. You'd think that'd be something they wouldn't want, but they like it.
Wait, are you talking about like good noodle stars?
I have no idea what you're talking about, but that's,
Like it's from SpongeBob, where like SpongeBob has a lot of good noodle
again,
stars. Because he's got like a lot.
I have spent about 3 seconds of my life watching SpongeBob, and that's because I was flipping through the TV and I accidentally stopped for a second.
You didn't watch that as a kid?
Obviously
Oh, wait,
not.
I wasn't around.
Do you realize the first episode of SpongeBob came out in 1999?
How do you know?
Oh my gosh. We were more into
You think?
Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote, Bugs Bunny, Popeye,
Oh, yeah.
stuff like that.
He was a
Alright,
Flapjack.
alright. Again, what type of angles are angle 4 and 5? How would you attack this problem? Somebody give me a reason. Somebody give me a path to go down. Who is it? Somebody. What do you know about angles 4 and 5?
They equal 180.
No. What type of angles are 4 and 5?
Complementary.
Is it possible it can equal a decimal?
Good, but not this one. What about 4 and 5 there? What type of angles are they?
Obtuse.
Straight.
Hey, right now, all the obtuse and acute, you just need to not worry about, because that is not going to help you. They're vertical. What do you know about vertical angles?
They're the same.
They're the same. So we know right now that these two angles are vertical. They are equal to each other. So the measure of angle 4 has to equal the measure of angle 5. Alright? What is angle 4? Well, it's 7n plus 39. What's the angle? Measure of angle 5?
11 minus 13.
Now you can solve that equation. Find out what n is. To do that, we subtract 7n from both sides. We get 39 equal to 4n minus 13. Add 13 to both sides. I get 52 equal to 4n. And I'll divide both sides by 4. So N is 13. Once I know what N is, I can go back up here and say 7 times 13 plus 39. 7 times 13 is what? I think that's right, isn't it? 7 times 19 be a 1, carry a 2. So that's going to be 130. And this one's going to be 11 times 13 minus 13. That's 143. So that was 130. And they come out equal to each other. Therefore, we know we're correct. So if the two angles form a linear pair or straight line, you add them together and equal to 180. If they are vertical, you set them equal to each other and solve for the variable. Any questions?
I had like the best sleep last night. Like I instantly went to bed at like 9:38, and like
Zach, how do you know what time you went to bed?
after like 30
Let me ask
seconds.
you, how do you know that you went to sleep at exactly 9:38? Because you'd have to be looking at the clock. And then you fell asleep, you'd have to be really looking at it, but you wouldn't know exactly when you fell asleep because.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Feel like
I'll
turn-
just say I went to bed at 9:38.
You'd have to make an assumption that.
But like
around-
so shortly, like not even like a minute. I was like,
How do you know?
I went to bed so fast.